coming at you from the studios. It's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Coming at you live from the Ayo studio.
Ayo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D, and we've got a great show for you tonight. The Mets are on a roll. The Oilers get another chance to stave off elimination, and Paul Skenes keeps dominating. But we'll begin today's show with the end of the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics are the NBA champions for the 18th time in NBA history. Jaylen Brown was named MVP in the series, which the Celtics dominated the Mavericks. The Celtics were the best team all season and never faced severe opposition throughout the entire playoffs. The last time we saw this kind of domination was like the 2016 Golden State Warriors. Can the Celtics go on a similar run, Z?
In short, no. In short, absolutely not. The league is such that if these dynasties don't happen anymore. Who was the last team that won a back-to-back?
The Warriors? No.
It's been a while.
Lakers?
I think it's the Lakers. So,
You don't even know.
exactly, because there's a new champion every year. That's just the way of this. That's just the way of the sport now, between the play-in tournament and just the parity of good teams. The one saving grace for the Celtics that they can get back there. They may not necessarily win. They can get back there. Their saving grace.
Warriors.
Yeah.
2017, 2018 Warriors.
Okay, so still, that's a while ago. That is a while ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
The more we move forward, the more that's in the rearview mirror. The issue is that you're going to have to get through the Knicks. You're going to have to get through the Heat. They're not going away. They're going to retool. The Knicks will retool. The Sixers. The Magic aren't. The Magic are young. Like, they can get better. The Cavs are still there. They could possibly get better. There's a lot of depth and there's a lot of promise in the Eastern Conference. That's just to get there. Now in the West, you have the Nuggets, they got picked off, but they're a better team than the Mavericks. You have the Wolves that picked off the Nuggets. They're as good of a team as the Mavericks. Now you're playoff tested, right? You have one under your belt. Maybe you make a little progression. You have the Kings that aren't bad. The Warriors are always going to kind of progress forward. This chapter might be closing, but I think they're going to retool as long as they have Steph Curry. They're going to try and stay in it, right? You have the Pelicans. They're still hanging around. You have the Thunder. You have teams in the West that are going to make it hard for you. So, it was an unimpressive performance by the Mavericks. We're going to get to them in a second. The Boston Celtics did what they were supposed to do. The Boston Celtics did what they've been trying to do for years. You finally did it. Congratulations. Good for you. You wiped the floor with a team that ultimately proved that they were not ready for prime time at that level. Now, that's not to say that the Mavericks didn't have a good run. Yeah, they absolutely did. From where they were last year to where it was a joke of a trade and we were mocking Mark Cuban for making the trade to the finals. Right? That's a huge turnaround. They can win it next year. Absolutely. A couple tweaks. Why not? But There's no real runaway team here. I don't see it with the Celtics. They're good. But we went over this a couple weeks ago. They're not dynasty good. They're not McHale. They're not Parrish. They're not Bird. They're not KG. They're not Paul Pierce. They're not Ray Allen. They don't have that gravitas that those teams do. They don't. They just don't. And I think that we have a new champion next year. Just part and parcel of the NBA and the fact that these guys don't move the needle the way that those dominant Celtics teams did.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think if they're going to go on this run and they're going to be a champion again, everybody has to take a step up, right? It's not like you can't just play the course. You can't be par for the course. Everyone has to take a step up. Porzingis has to be healthier. Drew Holiday has to be consistent. Jaylen Brown needs to become a more offensive weapon, a better defensive weapon. And Tatum needs to become the killer that I think he's capable of. I think he has Kobe Bryant type talent. He just is not like a killer. Like, he didn't disappear in this series, which was great. And a lot of people would argue that the reason why they're the NBA champion is who they beat. They never got really any real competition. Everybody they played was hurt or on their way out. They didn't have a challenge until they faced the Mavericks, and the Mavericks weren't ready for this. This wasn't, they just weren't built for this. And the Celtics were built for this. They did this largely without Porzingis. I mean, Porzingis came off the bench in game one, and he was a force, but he was a shadow of himself after that, and he even missed the game. Drew Holiday was as advertised. They went and they got rid of Marcus Smart, and they got Drew Holiday, who was a shutdown defender and cuts the basket beautifully, and no situation is too big for him. This was a guy that was drafted by the Sixers and bounced around and somehow found his way in the starting lineup with the Celtics. I mean, come on. And Jaylen Brown upped his game from last year. I think Jaylen Brown was rightfully the MVP, and he's the reason why they won, because his game greatly improved. And I think Tatum's improved too, but his game greatly improved. And you had Horford, which was clutch. And this is a guy who was a two-time college champion. He's been in the league for so many years, and he was built for this. He played defense on Luka. He was rebounding. He was shooting threes. He was playing defense. Like, they were ready for this moment. And I just think that they're not a team that could stay the course, right? Like, I think we both can say that Golden State really just had to stay the course. Right. Just keep shooting lights out, because you guys shoot lights out, you can rest all your players in the third quarter. That's what they were fucking doing in the teens. Like, that's what they were doing 10 years ago.
Yeah, but then they also had Clay, they had Steph, they had KD.
Splash Brothers.
Yeah.
KD, I mean, yeah, he joined. He got them 2, right? But they were better. They were a team before him, and they were already starting to be a problem. I mean, the ball movement between those guys and their ability to shoot threes and put people away, I mean, it was just remarkable. I just think the Celtics can win next year, but they need to take a step up. Everybody has to take a step up. And they're young enough where they could. I think Jason Tatum is winning his first title at a younger age than Michael, than LeBron, than Steph. I think he's one of the youngest, champions. So you just got to you have to keep getting better. Because like you said, the East is coming. The East is loaded. Everybody's going to be back next year. It's a matter of who's healthy and how long they're healthy for. And can you elevate to the next level?
Well, here's the thing. You mentioned the injuries, right? The Pacers picked off the Knicks because there was nothing left of that carcass. There was nothing left of that carcass. Now, if the Knicks make it through the Pacers, do they beat the Celtics in the conference finals? I think they do, because they did in the regular season. The Knicks had a formula, and they dealt with the Knicks were a problem for the Celtics. The Knicks were an absolute problem for the Celtics.
It wasn't an ideal matchup for them, but we don't know.
And we're never gonna know. And we're never gonna know.
Sure, it's possible.
We're never gonna know.
If Jimmy Butler doesn't get hurt, what happens then? We want to talk about that. I mean, we could. If Embiid doesn't get hurt, what happens? If Giannis doesn't get hurt, we can talk about. I mean, this is what the NBA is. But they said something interesting on PTI today, and I kind of agree with them that the NBA is a multi-championship league. You kind of got to win multiples. You can't. Like, most of the great players have multiples. You can't just win one. You can't just win two. You kind of got to win a bunch because you have teams like the Larry Bird teams and the Magic teams and the Michael Jordan teams that won so many. It's kind of hard for you to be like, okay, yeah, I got my one, I'm good.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't work like that in the NBA. Where in football, I think it's a little different. Like, we have a couple of quarterbacks that have multiples, but those Steeler teams, because the Steelers, I think, have 6 or 7 Super Bowls. They don't have 18.
Right.
They don't have 50. The Yankees have 28 world championships. Like,
I'm glad you mentioned the Yankees, because the Boston Celtics did exactly what the Yankees used to do. They used to buy up all the best talent. That's why they were able to get out to that lead in championships. It's the same thing with the Lakers.
You think that's what you felt like the Celtics did with this team? That's what
I feel like historically that's what they used to do with Red Auerbach.
Oh, historically, yeah.
But historically, that was the way to do it. Oh, I'm just going to buy up your best players.
Right.
So here, I don't see it, man. Like, who is the third guy on this team? You can't trust Kristaps Porzingis. Drew Holiday. Your third guy can't give you 12 a game. You got to get more. You need more.
But he could. He doesn't, but he could. He's that good. He just doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. Like, he's
going to have
towards
to next year.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's possible, but everybody's going to have to take a step up. Everyone's going to have to get better. And Tatum's going to have to become the killer that I think he's capable of being. But jumping on the other side, the Dallas Mavericks, where they were overmatched all series, they really didn't belong there. They had the blowout win in Game 4, but I think the Celtics were all waiting just to get back to Boston to win the championship. I think they knew they had this in the bag. Luka was largely unstoppable, but he was also letting guys blow by him. He was not playing any defense, and he was unstoppable in the first half of games, but then he appeared to get tired down the stretch. And in a season where Kyrie played and did not give the team any shit, really, did Dallas squander an opportunity here to win a championship?
The moment that Jason Kidd tried to play mind games with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, it was evident that this fucker was over.
Well, he correctly predicted the MVP of the series. Does he get any credit for that?
No.
He just had bets on Jaylen Brown winning the MVP.
No.
He wanted to hedge his bet.
Oh, great. So are you trying to put that out there so they launch an investigation into Jason Kidd's betting habits?
I'm just saying. He was like, listen, man, I got money on you being the MVP. I think you're the best player on this team. Can you show me I'm right?
Well, -10, -3, +9, +30, and then -19. Do you know what those numbers are?
No.
Luka's plus minuses. So, atrocious. Absolutely atrocious Ole defense right there.
Ole!
Ole. Oh, my God. And Kyrie was no better. -11, -12. But you gotta, and this was the team that committed to play defense, right? This was the one.
Kyrie averaged 14 points per game and shot 34% from the field.
That's not number 2.
Fucking garbage.
That's not a number 2. I'm sorry, absolutely not. He got out.
Right, that's not number 2, man.
No.
That's not number 2.
He almost got outscored by Josh Green.
It's number 2. But dude, like, where were you? Like, imagine if he was given what Luka was given. I mean, Luka, you could say what you want about the plus or minuses in Luka, and he didn't play defense. One man scored. My man scored. He scored.
He didn't stop anybody from scoring.
He didn't stop anybody from scoring.
That's a problem. That's a major problem.
He didn't stop anybody from scoring. But we talked about this last week. Luka's not Dirk.
No,
he's not.
He is not.
And I think, I was talking to a good friend of mine. I mean, I'm a Mavericks fan. I am. I like the Dallas Mavericks. I like Luka Doncic. And I was talking to him because he's got a lot of Luka cards. And I was like, well, that's about done for him. And he's like, what do you mean? He's young. He'll get back there. I was like, it's not that. It's that.
Dan Marino thought the same thing.
You lost that shine, dude. Like, this was your chance. Right? This was, you're young. And this was your chance. And I get it. Like, everybody's got to get that taste of defeat and get there. But I'll always say this about Dirk. He went through Kobe, the Thunder, and then LeBron and the Monstars. And won.
Yeah.
And shot lights out and was unstoppable, shooting 90% from free throw, like clipping threes, back to the basket, one-legged fadeaways, dunking, everything to win that. He gave it his all. Did Luka give it his all? I don't know if he gave it his all. I don't know if he gave it his all. He played the way he plays. There was no level up to his game, in my opinion. He played his game. Where Dirk, I'd say he was on another level in that series. He was that guy. He was the guy. He was that guy. He was that guy in that series. And this was a chance where Luka could have did that against this team. This team particularly, he could have did that against this team. Like Jimmy Butler had, Dirk, oh yeah, I'm going to get this, and Jimmy just, he went up against the Lakers and he just, I don't think he had the help that he needed, but Kyrie do it. And for me, Kyrie, takes a shot to you. But everybody was kind of low on you anyway, right? Everybody was kind of not feeling Kyrie anymore anyway. But this really kind of brought him down. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're good. But you're, clearly you're on the decline. And now we look at LeBron and be like, okay, yeah, you needed like that. You need LeBron. You did need LeBron. And you played really well together. But can you go do this by yourself? Absolutely not. And you're going to need a superstar. And you've got to play together like they did in the series before, where they were beating teams where they were averaging 66 or 67 or 70 points between the two of them.
Right.
That never happened in the series. And why? Why? Because they put bigger guys on all of them, right? Jalen is a bigger guy. Drew Holiday's a bigger guy. Tatum's a bigger guy. These are the guys that are guarding Kyrie. These are the guys that Kyrie had to shoot over. These are the guys he had to finish on when he got to the basket. And it's you could do it once or twice, but to do it for a whole game, there was anybody there he was getting over on. And even Luka. Horford, he didn't give Luka a problem, but he was a big body that Luka had to deal with. Another one, Tatum, was a big body that Luka had to deal with. And that's why I think towards the end of games, Luka was kind of slowing down. It's like, I'm exhausted, man. It's a lot of work.
And Luka's not in the best shape to begin with.
Right. 6'8", 250, 260, backing guys down, throwing one-handers off the backboard, driving to the basket, fadeaway shot. Like, after halftime, I'm shocked. I got nothing left, guys. They need a third guy.
They do need a third guy.
They need a third guy. Could Jalen Brunson have helped them? I don't think so. They need another guy.
If you keep Jalen Brunson, you don't get Kyrie Irving, your window is open longer. I would make that argument. However, you still need a third guy. I agree. Derek Jones isn't the guy. PJ Washington isn't the guy. Derek Lively's not the guy. The guy is not here. The guy is not here. Now, who is that guy? Like, who are you going to get? Is it Paul George? Like, is it that guy? Like, is it, who is available that's willing to come in here and do the job? Like, I don't see it. And, you have LeBron James wistfully, reminiscing about the times he played with Kyrie Irving. That's a pipe dream. I don't think LeBron is coming to this team. Could you imagine LeBron and Luka? Never mind LeBron and Kyrie.
I could. I really could. I could see that, but I think the Lakers are going to try and go for it.
Yeah, and if they were, if they were to hang on to him, like, there are going to be wholesale changes. There's definitely going to be something there. So, I think they were a year too early. They went up against the Wolves. The Wolves were a favorable matchup because Anthony Edwards, okay, he's a scorer, and your other two guys are bigs. You didn't have big wings. These guys are big wings. That was the issue. And then you had Drew Holiday, who he's locked down. He's that level of defensive wizardry. That's the case. So you need something. You need something else. And if your solution is hero ball, then that's really no solution at all. Right? It can't be. You need to have, like P.J. Washington had that monster game against the Wolves. Somebody else needs to step up. And I see too many guys in single digits on this team. There's too many guys. There are guys who have more fouls than points.
Yeah, and they were trying to find the good mix, and they really just couldn't do it. And it's just because the Celtics were able to trot 5 guys out there. But like I said last week, the Celtics have been building this for a while.
Yeah.
And it finally came to a head. And I'm not backing off my idea. I do think they should have disbanded this team 2 years ago. The difference is they played who was in front of them.
Right.
So it's hard for me to blame them for what happened. I'm not blaming them for what happened. They played who was in front of them, and they beat them, and they deserve the championship, and they've been building this for a long time. But had other teams been healthier, I don't know if it would have been the same outcome.
If they were playing the Nuggets or the Wolves or take your pick.
Right.
Or the Thunder.
It goes at least 6 games, right?
Yeah. What about the Thunder? If the Thunder somehow make it through?
I don't know if the Thunder are ready. The Thunder might have been like the same thing with like a Maverick situation. It just would have been different matchups, and that might have given Boston a harder time. I don't know if the Thunder had someone that could guard Tatum. So that part I don't know. Even the Mavericks really struggled with guarding Tatum. They didn't really have a guy to throw at him. Boston had a different star every series, and I guess now we can retire second row Joe, right?
He outcoached Jason Kidd, but apparently that wasn't that hard.
He was in the same draft as Kyrie Irving. Did you know that?
That's so wild.
Is that wild?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, now second row Joe is no more. Now he's
not.
Now he's first row Joe. Do you love brownies? Of course you love brownies. But you know what's better than a brownie? A delicious, handcrafted, gourmet brownie delivered right to your doorstep. That's what our guys at Sweet Life Brownie Co. offer. Chef Tommy D and the crew offer a dozen delicious delights that you will crave, from the classic OB to Dutch apple to campfire s'mores and many more. Check out their website, sweetlifebrownieco.com, for their Friday brownie drops. At noon, their site goes live and you see what they're making. Since you're there, become a site member and earn points. You earn 50 points just by signing up. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and Facebook too, at sweetlifebrownie_co, for the latest updates and their latest releases and creations. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com. Give them a call, 845-641-3043, and tell them D&Z sent you. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com, 845-641-3043. Sweet Life Brownie Co., because there's always room for a brownie.
Yeah, now moving on to the ice, where the Oilers are playing the Panthers right now, and they're up 1-0 heading into the second period. The Oilers will attempt to not become like the Dallas Mavericks tonight. They are facing elimination in Game 5 here. The Oilers routed the Panthers 8-1 in a flaffer to fight off elimination in Game 4. did the Oilers finally crack the code on the Panthers, or will the Panthers raise Lord Stanley's Cup tonight?
I believe that the Oilers cracked the code on the Panthers, and the Panthers are still going to raise Lord Stanley's Cup tonight. I think
okay.
I think
even down one zip.
Even down one zip. Even down one zip.
Okay, I see you.
So it doesn't matter to me. This series is playing out exactly like Celtics Mavs. Right? Right down to the Game 4 blowout. Right down to the Game 4 blowout, staving off elimination. So they finally figured out quick passes to beat the forecheck. Right? You spread out the defense. Somebody finally figured out you make quick passes.
Started listening to this show.
Quick outlet passes. And Connor McDavid finally got on the scoreboard. So good for you. Now that's one you burn. If you're Paul Maurice, there's only one guy had a flat plus minus, and that was Evan Rodriguez. Everybody else was at least a -1. So that's pretty friggin'. That's a game you forget. That's one that you just say, boys, come ready to play next game, because this ain't it. This ain't you. Now, whether it's that squeezing their sticks too tight because they're, the pressure of winning. This is a team that was there last year. They understand what it takes, right? They understand that feeling.
You're talking about the Panthers?
The Panthers. Yeah, they understand that.
Yeah, they said that, having the cup in the building and then having all their family flown up to Edmonton weighed on them. That's what they said.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to believe that. I think it is a little intimidating, especially if you do see the cup or you do see the people with it. Even if it's in its case, you're like, holy shit, this is really happening. Like, we can really do this. And then, your family's there and you're like, all right, yeah, I think there's pressure. I think you overthink it, right? You're overthinking your checks. You're overthinking the plays, and you're not just relaxing and playing hockey. And now tonight they're back home where they're killing people. So, maybe there's more of a comfort level here where they'll be able to take care of business.
Well, I don't know, because you know what? All of the damage done by Edmonton was 5-on-5. There was one shorty and there was one power play. The majority of that was done on 5-on-5. So you need to rethink. You need to recommit to your defensive responsibilities. You can't be, you need to commit to your defensive structure, and you need to go in there and you need to forecheck. That's what you need to do. Now, Bobrovsky has been
they took him
insane.
Out, right?
Yeah, Stolarz went in. He gave up 2. So, 7 out of 9. Yeah. It's like, dude, I actually got to play? Like, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Hold on. Where's my helmet?
Coach, just use Bob's. He doesn't need it anymore. Just use Bob's. But, it was only a matter of time before they figured out how to beat Bobrovsky. All right, the Rangers did. The problem is, it was in like 30 seconds left in the game, and they were already losing. So that was the problem. So they cracked the code a little bit earlier. Now, spin it back one game prior. It was 4-3. It was close. And Edmonton was counterpunching all night. So they were matching Florida. So they've been body blowing. They've been sticking with this team. Now, Florida needs to establish the fact that they have learned from last year. So that means defensively, tighten that up, smother people, keep going with your north-south game because it plays well. The Edmonton defense is not great. Stuart Skinner is not great. You have the matchup edges in everybody not named Connor McDavid. And they're not gonna play him 60 minutes. So that's the thing. You have the matchup advantage everywhere except for him. This is 1993. You are the Montreal Canadiens. They are the Los Angeles Kings. They had Gretzky. You had a better team. Execute your game plan. Play your game. and you can hoist Lord Stanley Cup tonight. That's what you can do. You can absolutely hoist the Stanley Cup tonight. And for Conn Smythe, I mean, it's got to be Bob Ruff. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that guy has been standing on his head all playoffs. Like, he's been weathering the storm the entire time. They got to him. I don't think they're going to get to him again. So 1-0. There's plenty of time left in the game. They absolutely can make this happen. But if I'm looking for somebody to step up offensively, where are the Sams? Reinhart and Bennett. This is where you guys make your money. That's where you made your money against the Rangers, right? You got them panicking. You got the Rangers fans scrambling for their mouthpiece. They're talking about, how come you cut Barclay Goodrow? He was good. No. You have the talent in that room. Those are the two guys I'm looking for offensively. The heartbeat of this team is Barkov and Tkachuk. Barkov and Tkachuk are the heartbeat. Reinhart and Bennett are the guys who need to put the puck in the net. And that's going to get them where they want to go.
Are you in need of air care maintenance or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you.
Well, Z, have you heard? The Mets are on a roll. They appear to be on a 6-game win streak since Grimace from McDonald's threw out the first pitch in the game 6 games ago. Is Grimace the real hero here, or did they get a live chicken?
What finally is clicking is that they're actually too new that if you hit the baseball where the opposing team isn't, if you hit them where they ain't, just maybe you can actually win some baseball games. The Mets have been, with the exception of probably Jeff McNeil, the Mets have been very hot right now. They got Francisco Alvarez back. There's no gaping hole at catcher anymore. So you definitely have some hope. You had hope already. We talked about it last week. This National League is atrocious. So this back end of the National League is atrocious. So you're in this for the foreseeable future. You just swept the Padres. All right? Padres, they're in it. They're in it. So you're only 2 games behind them. You just beat the crap out of the defending World Series champions, the Texas Rangers. The offense is showing. The pitching has been decent. The bullpen still scares me. Getting to Edwin Diaz is the problem. Right? And Edwin Diaz himself, prior to going on the IL, was a problem. He seems to have his confidence back. He seems to be back where he was. Now, Ottavino stinks. Jake Diekman stinks. Reed Garrett's probably your bridge. Reed Garrett sounds like a fucking 1970s singer. Like, wasn't he in bell bottoms and shit? Didn't he have a hit single? Some disco guy? That's Reed Garrett. Yeah, that's Reed fucking
Sounds
Garrett.
Sounds like a shit kicker to me.
Sean Reed Foley, known for his mustache. That's all you need to know. The Met bullpen, if they are going to be in this thing, they need to address that at the trade deadline. Don't worry about fucking Pete Alonso's contract. Don't worry about that bullshit. It will take care of itself. Whether he stays or he goes, it'll take care of itself. But if you're staying in this thing, like you apparently can, because you're equatorially hot right now. Francisco Lindor is playing to the back of his baseball card. He did it again. Just like it came back around. That train's never late. Francisco Lindor is good again. So JD Martinez is finally hitting. You need to address the bullpen. So take this for what it's worth. when the Mets inevitably lose 10 out of their next 15, because that's the kind of situation that's going on, we'll be right back on the other side of the spectrum where we're, ripping our hair out and crying. So this is the problem right now with the state of the National League. Is the Mets are not the only team that are doing this right now. The Giants, they have a wild card spot and they're under 500. So a team gets hot, that rearview mirror, objects are getting closer. Objects are getting absolutely closer. So if the Mets can figure out how to jettison Jeff McNeil, how to get bullpen help, they can absolutely be in this thing. They absolutely can. And the Grimace thing, it has to lead to a partnership with McDonald's. Open up a McDonald's concession stand. Do something. I don't know. Give us a promo code. Just a freaking promo code. How about that? But I mean, they couldn't even get him they didn't even get him the right glove. He was wearing the wrong glove. Did you see that?
I was impressed that he got it to
in the Grimace costume.
That looked incredibly difficult for how the size he was. He got it to home plate. I mean, I think he was on a bounce, but he still got it.
There's a Portola Cologne joke
better than 50
somewhere.
cents throw.
I'm gonna let you find it.
I saw that. Yeah, no, I saw it already. I think it could be. It certainly could be that Bartolo Colon in there. That's the difference. I'm gonna just say that it doesn't. I'm gonna chalk this up to nothing. Teams go on runs. I think it is impressive that they beat the defending champs 14-2. They got their bats going in that game, but you came off a series where you played the Marlins, and you talk about the Marlins should be, sent down, demoted. The Padres, I mean, they're underachievers anyway. So you swept them at home. It's not like you swept them in San Diego. They were on the East Coast, probably not paying any mind to you. Probably just enjoying
Just some breaking news. Willie Mays passed away.
Right. So let's...
Oh, rest in peace, Willie Mays.
Yeah, I saw that.
Say hey, kid. Former Met.
The Say Hey Kid, right? Yeah, the Say Hey Kid. I'm sure poor... Come on. Poor man died. You want to talk about how he used to be a Met? Don't talk about
he was San Francisco Giant too.
Don't talk about that. There you go. 5-time World Series champ.
A legend.
Well, I'm sure we'll really talk about him in the next show. But yeah, let's see what they do. They're in Texas. It's 1-1 with the Rangers right now. Let's see how they finish out that series. And then they have to go face the Cubs. And the Cubs are playing for something here. And then they get to play the Yankees in a 2-game skipper. So, in Citi Field. So let's see what happens. I think good for them. They needed something like this. This is something that's good. I mean, I think they're still under 500.
Just so you know, the Mets have a better record than the Cubs. So there you go. The Cubs are dead fucking last in the National League Central. So don't tell me they got something to play for.
Is that good? Well,
I think
trying. The Cubs are really trying, though. You think the Mets are... You think
Clearly
the Mets
they are
trying?
Clearly they are. The results are there.
Like,
right? They have the same winning percentage as the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Mets are actively trying. The Cubs are disappointing. If this is them trying, they need to try hard.
Are trying. They're just look. Hold on a second. They are only one. They're one in the loss column back of the Pirates and the Reds, and they're 3 in the loss column behind.
That division shit.
Like they're in it, man. The Mets are not in it. They're not a part of anything that's going on right now.
Okay.
They're fucking 3 games under, and the Washington Nationals, who are trying to lose, are ahead of them. And they're never going to catch the Phillies, and they're not going to catch the Braves. Like
they have 5 fewer They have 5 fewer wins than the Braves. Your vaunted Atlanta Braves. 5 wins. So cut the shit, pal. There's only 5 wins. 5.
Hey, the Braves lost their best player. Oh, Oilers got another goal. The Braves lost their best player. The Mets' best player is hitting .219.
Still got him. Still got him. So you're...
Their best player might be on a different team. Your best player might be on the Cubs in 2 months. This fucking team just kills me, man. Well, no, I mean, listen, they just, it's just a shitty situation because, like we talked about last week, like they're working themselves into a situation where they're going to have to try to win instead of selling, which is what they really need to do. Like, Francisco Lindor is fucking awful. He's awful. There are 10 other shortstops that I'm sure teams would love to have. The Mets would love to have, not named Francisco Lindor. Not good. Not good. You talk about needing a number 2. The Mets need a number 2 and a number 3. Like, just god awful.
For all the grill masters, green thumbers, home repair heroes, and DIY aficionados in the Richmond, Virginia area, if you're looking for personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience, look no further than Thacker Ace Hardware in Colonial Heights, Virginia. Owner Don Rackley and his team of local experts have everything you need to tackle all of your home projects. I'm talking paints by Benjamin Moore and Clark in Kensington, power tools by Craftsman and Milwaukee, electrical, plumbing, hardware, and let's not miss the grills. Weber, Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blackstone, top shelf, amazing. And for all you green thumbers, their nursery department is fantastic. Give them a call today, 804-766-4223, or stop by 27 Dunlop Village in Colonial Heights. That's 804-766-4223, or swing by 27 Dunlop Village in Colonial Heights. Thacker Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
We just mentioned the Pittsburgh Pirates. Their pitcher, Paul Skenes, dominated again last night to pick up his 4th win of the season. He's 4-0. He has pitched 39 innings so far this season. He only threw 300 innings in college. The Pirates are in contention, but at what point should the Pirates consider shutting him down or putting him on a pitch
Pirates
count?
are in contention. They have one more win than the Mets. But the Mets are a joke. The Mets are a joke. The Mets are a joke.
The division.
No, look, yo.
You cannot, with the Mets payroll, you cannot be comparing yourself to the Pittsburgh fucking Pirates. They play in a stadium that looks like a fucking pirate lives there. Like, come on. Like, leave them alone. Let them have their glory in the.
There
in their
is no division there. The Milwaukee Brewers are already wrapped this shit up. It's got a pretty red bow on it. It's done.
They've already taken
They've
already
put the goddamn banner up. They're just waiting to waiting to uncover it. It's done. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Brewers. So that's where we are. So 4-0, 2.29 ERA, 53 strikeouts, a .99 whip.
This is the best the Pirates have looked in years, okay?
The Pittsburgh Pirates were a perennial contender in the mid-teens. In the
70s?
With Andrew McCutchen. Come on now. Don't besmirch Kutch. How dare you besmirch Andrew McCutchen? How dare you? But Skenes, yeah, you have to be concerned, man. You have to be concerned. The dude has thrown 39 in the third innings. He only threw 300 innings in college, and he only threw 34 minor league innings. Like, you have to be concerned. Absolutely. He's going to hit a wall. Everybody hits a wall. Everybody hits a wall. Name one pitcher who, in their rookie year, didn't hit that innings wall and hit it hard. You can't.
Well, I just worry that I worry because he's another DeGrom where you're throwing hard every damn pitch. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, chill out. Teach this kid how to throw a changeup.
Allegedly, he's a 5-pitch pitcher.
Changeup. Like, slow
Allegedly.
the fuck down.
I don't know.
Allegedly, he's going to be Jacob deGrom in 2 years. Who's pitching on a mound, by the way?
Stop.
He's close to a return.
What? How many starts? 2 starts, and he's down with Tommy John again. So you're looking at Paul Skenes. He's got a 39 1/3 innings. Relievers get that at this point in the season. So if you're going to bring him to the All-Star game because you have a controversy as far as, like, he's a rookie, he shouldn't be. What does it matter if he started in May versus he started in April? If he's dominating teams the way he's dominating teams, yeah, he's thrown 39 1/3 innings. Ryan Helsley's thrown 32. He's probably going to end up in the All-Star game. So your argument is pretty damn piss poor. So what becomes a long-term thing is when you shut him down, because you have to protect him from himself. He's gonna hit the wall. You have to figure it out. Now, is it 100 innings? Because he's never gotten close. 300 is cumulative. It's not in a season. It's cumulative. So you have to treat this kid with kid gloves, especially if he's going to be your future. So you need to, as Pittsburgh, protect him from himself. If that's a hard innings limit, then that's a hard innings limit. I understand he's popular. I understand the whole Livy Dunn thing. I get it. He's a needle mover. However, do you want the short term or do you want the long term? You have to protect your investment. That's what you, in management, that's what you as a coach, you need to protect players from themselves sometimes. So if that means 100 innings and we'll see you next year, that means 100 innings and we'll see you next year. Even if they're in a pennant race, which probably won't happen, right? They're lumped in with the Mets, they're lumped in with the Padres, the Giants. Stranger things have happened, but it's highly unlikely. So you play the long game here. You let Paul Skenes soak up the adulation, do what he's doing, earn some Rookie of the Year. Maybe he takes home Rookie of the Year. Maybe not for 100 innings. But play the long game and let your investment blossom. Let your team blossom in the future. Don't cut it off now just because.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
It's the In Route, where friends of the show get a special segment with us. Want to be part of the action? Want to be the newest member of the In Crowd? You know what to do. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com, or slide in those DMs on Fade Route Podcast on IG, or hit that Twitter, FadeRouteDNZ.
Joining us on the In Route today, we have a member of Cross Country Mortgage. He's a lieutenant in the White Plains Fire Department and recently inducted member of the Harrison Football Hall of Fame. CJ Lambiasi, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course, team. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
CJ, what's up?
What's up, Z? What's going on, man?
All right. We'll start you off with this. You were recently inducted into the Harrison Football Hall of Fame. Last year, your grandfather was inducted, and this year, you were inducted. What does your induction mean to you and your family?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, first of all, it means a great deal to me and my family. It's kind of an achievement of my own, but a continuation of a legacy that kind of, began a long time ago. For me personally, it's a culmination of hard work, love for football, spending summers at practice in the heat, hitting the weight room, studying film, keeping my grades up, and always being a positive role model for, all the little kids watching and stuff. It recognizes kind of all those sacrifices and, of course, like the support from my family, coaches along the way. From a family aspect, I think it carries actually a deeper significance. It honors the traditions and values that were passed down by my grandfather, who truly led the foundation for the Harrison Husky program and my general interest in football. Pride and tradition is one of the big phrases that Harrison football uses. It's all over their T-shirts, their attire. It's posted all over the place. And it's kind of like a cornerstone for the program. And last year, I had the privilege of representing my grandfather, John Delzio, when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that was an amazing moment that really, just highlighted the roots of that pride and tradition term and what it is to be a Husky. For me, like 60 years apart, we actually played on the same field, on the same grass. So like that alone blows my mind. My grandfather was like one of my biggest supporters, and, knowing that all his efforts kind of came full circle when I made the same achievement to me, that's what really makes it, I think, really special for me, for sure.
Did he get to see you play?
Of course, yeah, he got to see. He was at every single game,
That's great.
Along with all my family, really. But it really meant a lot to him because, like, he was definitely like, he taught me the game. He kind of really, made that kind of burning interest in football in general, and just knowing, like, seeing the pictures, like, growing up, hearing the stories and everything. It was just a really cool experience to kind of be there and accept it for him and then get it myself a year later, which is just, it's a really...
What position did he play?
He played kind of all over the place, but he was.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was actually a five sport athlete in school, and he was just amazing. He was just like amazing at everything he did, which is pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the first time you stepped onto the field at Harrison, you never thought your name would be enshrined in the Harrison football history. But what makes Harrison High School so special to you and Westchester County?
I mean, playing high school football in Harrison was, listen, it's a small town. It really places an emphasis on, like, what I was saying before about pride and tradition. Playing football in Harrison is just a unique experience. Like, every practice and game, it has, like, this kind of sense of responsibility to uphold the legacy of, like, all the people who played before, to inspire the young people that are watching you. The community support gives you that extra, like, motivation, and turning the big games into, like, these big community events filled with, excitement. It's kind of like that Friday Night Lights experience that, you watch on TV, and, like, I feel like people, when I tell people about it, you either get it or you don't. Like, I get, like, the whole, Uncle Rico and, Al Bundy, you know what I mean? But you have to kind of experience it to really know what it's about, and, like, it being part of the program, it means more than just, like, playing the sport. It's like you're kind of representing your town. It's like something much bigger than yourself. And just the sheer history behind it, man. It's like so many years of history that is built into it, and it's just something special to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, I actually got to attend the ceremony, and there were so many great players that got inducted that night along with you. And, there was a sentiment held by all of this beat Rye. I think every single person who came up there talked about beating Rye or blanking Rye. So can you just give me a little bit more of a background on the Rye-Harrison rivalry?
Oh yeah, man! It's one of the biggest rivalries in Westchester, if not, New York State in general. It's kind of like one of those things where like you're no matter how many games you win that season, as long as you beat Rye, you had a winning season.
It's all right.
And back in the day, like it would be like this thing where you would. Like, we each have, when I played anyway, like, in Harrison, there's a duck pond, and Rye has, like, this little creek. And, when you win, you jump in their creek or whatever field you're playing on in your creek. And it's kind of
so
like how you
so
celebrate.
You beat them on your field, you go in your own pond?
You go in your own pond, and then whoever, you know what I mean? Like, but my senior year, we played them in Rye, and we beat them. And we were able to jump in their creek, which I feel like is even a little bit more like in your face. Like,
that's definitely more disrespectful.
Exactly.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks have that pool, and everybody jumps in the pool when they beat them.
Yeah. No, but it's just a rivalry that, again, goes through history. And, my grandfather was part of it. And it's just something that, you could tell your kids about because, again, if you could literally lose every other game in the season, as long as you beat Rye, it was successful.
So currently, you're a loan officer for Cross Country Mortgage in Westchester County. So can you tell us some of the mistakes? I mean, because you're dealing with first-time home buyers all the time. And what are some mistakes that they make when they're looking to get approved for a loan and when they're trying to buy their home?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the most common mistake is just not being prepared. I always tell people, like, start talking to a loan expert. You'd be surprised of, like, the misconceptions that revolve around buying a home. Like, a lot of people, like, when they first start, they think, like, oh, I have to go to a realtor to start looking at houses. But, if you don't know how much you can afford
right.
or, what comfortable payment you can afford, it really doesn't mean anything. You're going to waste the time of your realtor. You're going to waste, seller's time. You're going to waste your own time. So, speaking with me first, getting pre-approved should always be step one. I could take a look at your finances, your credit score. I explain the process step by step. We crunch numbers, so we could kind of come up with a number that you and your family feel comfortable with, and help you feel like you're not getting into something you can't handle. Also, I think just not having the right team behind you. So, like, I've been in the industry some time now. I work with some really good people and some not so good people, and knowing what who the best realtors are, home inspectors, insurance agents, lawyers that I can kind of recommend to you. It makes the process just go so much better. Like, if we could work synergistically, it's going to end up, saving you money, frustration, and a whole lot of time, getting into the house that you love, the home of your dreams.
When you talk about crunching the numbers and mortgage interest rates, they're crazy right now. So the government's still trying to wrap their mind around inflation and get that under control, and that's causing the interest rates to go sky high. But what are the strategies you suggest to home buyers that are waiting for these interest rates to come down? Do you just tell them to play the long game, or like what do you recommend?
The rates have been kind of crazy short term, but, you know, like if you look at history, like, you know, when my parents tell me when they bought their house, you know, rates were like 13 or 14%. So like overall, historically, they're actually not that bad. You know, as tempting as it may be for a home buyer to wait for interest rates to come down, you know, I think waiting could actually lead to more like missed opportunities and could end up costing you money in the long run. Because, you know, interest rates, listen, they're one factor. You know, the difference between a 7 and a 6 and a 5 could really only be a couple $100 a month. But home prices and market conditions can fluctuate, and waiting for those rates to drop could, you know, end up costing you more money in home prices and negating any potential savings that, you know, you may have had. So like waiting for the rate to come down 1%, and then prices in like your range jump $100,000, it's kind of like you're only spiting yourself at that point, you know. And then on top of it, predicting interest rates is impossible. You know, I think just locking in a mortgage now, even if it's a little bit higher than you were hoping, it just kind of secures a payment that you're going to be comfortable with for now, but you're going to be building equity much sooner than if you waited. You know, and generally the equity gained from owning a home can be one of the greatest investments of your life. And, you know, if you kind of view it as the perpetual upward trend in growth and price and appreciation, like it's just one of those things where it's always going up. So it's just a matter of diving into it no matter when it is. And, you know, if you think about it too, like if the rates come down, you know, you just refi. You could always refi to a better rate, but if you're in the house that you love, and as long as you can afford that payment, even if it's for the short term, why not just dive in now? And, you know, in a couple years when the rates do start to drop, I think we're going to see home prices and values shoot through the roof. So, you know, if you wait, you're going to miss out on that appreciation, and you're only going to end up paying more anyway. So if you could get into it now, your house is going to gain all that equity in the meantime, and you simply refi and you get a better rate, a lower payment, and you're in your house much sooner than you expected.
That makes sense. And so we'll get you out of here on this one. You deal with people from all over the United States, from various backgrounds, various walks of life every day. So what's the best way for people to figure out how much of a mortgage they can afford and how much money they should use as a down payment?
So there's really no cookie cutter kind of like everybody fits into one mold. So as I said before, I think the very best way is going to be contact me. You know, we have actually this really great application that I literally send you a link, you input your information, and then boom, I see everything on my screen. And I'm able to kind of work with you and to go over all the factors. You know, like we could look at what you're paying now for rent. We could look at what areas you're looking for, what states you're looking for. You know, my company, we could do loans in all 50 states. So really, I think speaking to somebody that can sit down with you, go over your numbers, and find what's going to be the most comfortable situation for you is going to be your best bet. And it's not only for, you know, first-time home buyers, or if you're buying a vacation home, it could be, you know, for an investment too. You know, like I know like the big thing now is house hacking and stuff. It's all over TikTok and Instagram and, you know, the Burr method and all that stuff that everybody's into. Just speak to someone. Like those things, like they seem like they're so far away, but they're really not. Like it's not as difficult and overwhelming as you might think. And I really believe that, you know, actually owning a home is probably one of the most lucrative assets that you can own, and one of the best investments out there.
Well, you know what else is a great investment? Coming on this show. Because
Yeah.
now, you're nationwide. You're not just Westchester County, baby. You are nationwide. Who knew that? We didn't know that, but now everybody knows it now. So,
Yes.
CJ Lambiasi, cross-country mortgage loan officer, and Harrison Football Hall of Famer. Thank you for joining us on the In Route today. And if you want to be the next member of the In Crowd, hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG at Fade Route Podcast. Drop us a line on X at FadeRouteDNZ. And you, yes, you, can be the newest member of the In Crowd. CJ Lambiasi, thank you for coming on, brother, and hopefully we will talk again soon.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity. Definitely will. I look forward to another opportunity for sure. Thank you.
Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today for all your Fade Route merch needs. I'm talking tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like yoga pants. We got those too. Like some cool accessories? We got those too. And we're not done yet. We have so much more planned for you, but check out what we have today at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award. All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and our Instagram poll at FadeRoute Podcast, and you vote. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this year's show and takes home the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy, D?
I don't.
That would be one Mr. Xavier Howard.
That guy.
Yeah. Don't send explicit pictures to a minor of his mom. That's bad. That's really bad. Yikes. It's terrible. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
All right, first up, got the Atlanta Falcons. Adding Matt Ryan and Arthur Blank into the Ring of Honor? For what? What did Matt Ryan do? Blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl? And
Should put Tom Brady in.
And who puts their own owner in the Ring of Honor? Like, what? Do you need to stroke your ego that much, Arthur? Atlanta Falcons, you're my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, I've got Kyrie Irving. You only averaged 14 points in the NBA Finals and shot 34% from the field. Why even bother? Why even bother? Why even bother? Kyrie Irving, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. And number 3, I've got some golf action. I got Rory McIlroy choking away the U.S. Open to DeChambeau. You're better than that, Rory. And then not congratulating him at the end and not talking to the press at the end of the match and waiting 2 days to say anything? Bad form, sir. Bad form. Rory McIlroy, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. What do you got, Z?
Those are great choices. I wasn't sure you were gonna go to golf. I was gonna see if I can sneak Rory by you, but I guess I couldn't do that. I'm gonna start with Officer Bob, Sergei Bobrovsky, Edmonton 8, Florida 1. Need I say more? Oh yes, Edmonton 3, Florida 1. So yeah, that's not good. And Anthony Stolarz only gave up 2 of those. So that's on you. You went from a brick wall to a rubber mallet in less than 2 games. So that's pretty darn bad. Sergei Bobrovsky, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, and this one's really bad. This is on par with Xavier Howard from last week. Kansas City Chief Reserve. And yes, I know we're going into reserve territory, but it's pretty darn bad. Isaiah Buggs. Domestic violence and burglary after breaking into his girlfriend's house with a tire iron at 5 o'clock in the morning and then dragging her. It's been a bad offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs between this guy and Rashee Rice. This guy's already been implicated in animal cruelty. It's been a bad offseason for the Chiefs.
Threw at his own son in a father-son game.
Yeah, it's pretty darn abysmal right now. So, Isaiah Buggs, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And then last but not least, the Washington Commanders. Ordered to pay $1.3 million to season ticket holders because you didn't properly return their deposits. How'd you screw that up? It's like, I don't want them anymore. Okay, here's your money back. But that's it. So now, you're ordered to pay $1.3 million back to your team. What a way for new ownership to start off, right? On the ass end of a lawsuit. Now I'm losing money on this fucking thing. It's bad enough that I just had to buy this thing. Now I'm paying money out. I'm paying even more money out. Come on now. Hopefully, the commies can move forward, and hopefully they can rebuild the bridge that Dan Snyder burned to the ground and then pissed on. So you have a lot of work to do.
He burned it to the ground and then pissed on it. That's great.
That's what he does. Unfortunately, this is what you're left with in the wake of Dan Snyder. And it's just one final fuck you on the way out. I'm sure Josh Harris really loved that. Washington Commanders, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ or go to our Instagram poll at FadeRoutePodcast and vote. And vote, and vote, and vote. And for our nominees. Just do better, boys. Just do better.
This has been The Fade Route with DNZ. Thanks for tuning in. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. So until next time, stay faded, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.